What's up? It's me, Nick. Yes, I'm wearing the stunners all summer. All summer. I told you guys on Facebook that I'm wearing these stunners all summer. I'm not taking them off. I sleep in these things. Now, I just made a status on Facebook and I want to clear some things up. I just made a status saying that I'm going back to flight school, and I did not know how many Bahamians were interested in flying. I have an inbox here that it's full of messages of, hey Nick, how do I enroll in flight school? What do I do? This, that, and next. Simply, you gotta search the internet, and you need a little bit of money. And not just a little bit more than a little bit of money, because flight schools tend to get expensive. All right. So when you go online and you search for flight school and they say, hey, we can teach you how to fly for 8 grand, save up maybe 15 grand. Okay. Because with fuel surcharges going up, yeah. Okay. So save up a little bit of money and then, you know, go enroll in a flight school. Search online, search Google, find anywhere in Florida, from Daytona Beach, Opelika, anywhere in Central Florida, Lakeland, Kissimmee, Orlando. Those places are great for flight school simply because the weather is awesome in Florida. Even if you have bad weather sometimes, the bad weather don't last as long, maybe an hour or so. So, search online, okay? Number 2, don't let anybody tell you that you can't become a pilot because you didn't finish school or you didn't go to college or some other foolishness. It's all lies. All right, anybody can be a pilot. If you can speak English, you can be a pilot. You don't even need to know how to add. There's calculators for that. And yes, pilots do use calculators, especially me, who can't add properly all the time. And especially when iPods do everything for you now. I use my iPod when I fly. Simply because my E6B is on my iPod. I can file flight plans, check weather, everything with my iPod. So instead of a calculator, pilots now attach this to their leg when they fly, and this becomes part of our pre-flight check. Make sure we have our iPod and our cellular phones, especially data phones. Oh, they are amazing when it comes to flying. Can't even get lost these days with data phones and iPods. When I flew back in 2004, I think I was flying with another pilot down to where's that place? Stella Marie, and we got lost. Yes, we did. Simply because we was in a rush, we didn't plan properly, and we got lost. So basically, iPods, iPhones, data phones, those are the future of flying. So flying has been made for any and everybody right now. I'm almost 300 pounds and I'm still underweight for flying, so it's pretty awesome. So anybody can fly. I never finished school. I dropped out in grade 12. Now I'm a pilot. Hee-haw! So anybody can fly, so don't let people fool you, all right? The best thing about flying to Florida is that we can get in the United States, especially Bahamians. Bahamians can get in the United States on a visa waiver program, meaning we could use our police record and get into the United States. So that's one great thing. Second great thing, we're right there. It only takes 30 minutes on Bahamas Air to get to the United States from the Bahamas. So flying in Florida is one of the great key features that we have as Bahamians, because it's so close to where we live. All right, so the first thing to do is look for flight schools online. Search for flight schools in Florida. Most of them are great. Search for flight schools that has a lot of aircrafts. Make sure they don't include hidden fees like fuel surcharges. If you ask them about their fuel surcharges, because when gas prices go higher, they're gonna charge you that when you need to rent a plane. Okay, some of those schools actually hide those fuel surcharges. Okay, and they do add up. So if you take a plane out and you take it out, let's say for longer than an hour, they're gonna throw all those fuel surcharges on you, and you gotta pay for those fuel surcharges when gases go higher. So make sure the fuel surcharge is boldly written on their website or their plan or packet, whatever they give you. Another thing to look for is housing. You need a place to stay. Make sure it's in a good area. Make sure some schools offer housing, some schools bunk you up with other students, and some schools offer housing on property, which is pretty cool. Some schools offer to pay your hotel fees. So that's awesome. Some schools offer transportation. You gotta look for those things. You gotta look for, see if they mention how many instructors they have, because sometimes a school with little bit of instructors is gonna have problems. Maybe an instructor is out sick and you can't fly today because there's no instructor. So make sure they have a bit of instructors on property to always be there to train you, or make sure they have good maintenance record. Make sure the planes are, I train on G1000s, so which is Cessna's glass panel line. They're now making all Cessnas with glass panels. They're not using the old analog gauges anymore. So make sure the schools are equipped with updated aircrafts. Like I say, use the G1000s, which is the top of the line right now. So these things you got to look for when you're looking for a flight school. Some flight school offer a plan where you can pay a little bit here, a little bit later. Some schools you have to pay the whole thing. Now, one of the things you have to do when you, since 9/11, when you go to flight schools now and anywhere in America, you have to get fingerprinted when you get there. Now, this is one thing that some people have problems with, but there is a website called Alien Flight Students. It's the Alien Flight Student Program where you pay a fee and you could go to any fingerprint collector. They'll tell you where they are and get fingerprinted while you're in the United States. You might have to make two trips. A trip to go to the United States first, get fingerprinted, then go back home and wait till your flight training starts. Sometimes it takes about 5 days for them to approve you. Other than that, training is very simple. You can look for schools that offer fast-paced training. You could get a private license in about a month, or you could get a slow-paced training where you could get a private license in 3 months. Now the difference with those is the slow-paced training, you usually forget a lot of things you learn on the last lesson because the lessons are split apart so much times. So the lessons are so far apart that when you go on a new lesson, you still have to train for the old lesson in order to refresh your memory, you know, what it is I learned. But when you're on a fast-paced training, you know, I learned steep turns yesterday, so today I'm learning, I don't know, you know, slow flight. So you basically remember a lot of things when the training is more compact on you, but it's basically how you feel. If you feel that you could take on compact training, then I suggest you go for it. But if you feel that you need to take a slow pace, go for the slow pace. So they call it accelerated training. So look for those differences in flight schools: accelerated training, slow pace training. All right. Any other questions, you guys could just hit me up with a message. I think I've covered everything in the video. Like I said, don't let people deter you from flying. Flying is great. Flying is amazing. Don't be scared. I was scared when a lot of things happen in aircraft, so don't be scared. The reason of going to flight school is to learn emergency procedures. Basically, you can learn how to fly in a day, but what you're learning is emergency procedures when things happen. That's basically what flight school is all about, and to teach you what to do when things happen, what to avoid, what not to avoid, things like that. So flight school is basically a big emergency procedures school on what to do properly, what to avoid. So don't be afraid of flying. Flying is awesome. Once you get acquainted with your instructor, everything is going to be awesome. Everything is going to be easy. Like I said, any questions, ask me, or just search around on Google, or you could contact a flight school. That's one good thing too. If you could call a flight school and they answer you and they talk to you, you know, like, and they don't rush you off the phone, that's a great flight school because they're willing to talk with you and let you know how things work. So look for those things. Instead of sending them an email, pick up the phone and call the flight school. Hey, I'm interested in flying. What do I do? See if they answer you. If they come back and say, hey, check our website, everything is there, don't go to that flight school. Any flight school and every flight school should be willing to talk to you and let you know what it is that you need to do to enroll in that flight school. All right? Any questions, hit me up. I'm not taking these stunners off. These bad boys cost me. Anyway, just hit me up if you got any questions.